Hi, welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. I'm DV LeBron. Today, my very special guest is the Mayor of Waxahachie, Miss Billy Wallace. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing wonderful, DV. Thanks for having me on your show again.
I wanted to have you on because you are running for reelection and you are running unopposed. So you're the mayor, and I know that they do some voting in May, and they'll figure out who's going to be the next mayor. But congratulations for running unopposed. The public obviously had enough confidence in you not to throw somebody up. You know how rare unopposed is here in Ellis County.
That's for sure. And I'm grateful for that. And I hope that the majority of the community is happy with the work that me and the council are doing. And, if that's a sign that most of them are pleased, that I'm going to continue on and continue looking at the city and continue to improve it every way that I can.
And there's so many things coming on the horizon for Waxahachie because, as you know, because you're in it every day, there's growth, there's roads to fix, there's so many things going on. And if you've looked around at just in the general area, they're building like crazy. These new homes are just popping up everywhere. So there's so many things that are hitting Waxahachie at this moment that are just big. And so I wanted to talk I wanted you to come on and kind of talk about, your last term, some of the things you're proud of. So I'll just let you kind of get through some of the things that were accomplished. You as leading, and then the obviously I know that it takes votes. There's other people on the council, but just in general, I wanted to talk to you about those things in your last term.
Well, we were able to do some good things, this past year, and we have a lot of work to do. We are in the budget season again. It seems like we're always in the budget season because even when we're not in deep, we're planning to get in there and get busy. And some of the things that we were able to accomplish last year is increasing the homestead exemption. I've always ran on the fact that I want to put more money in the taxpayer's pocket and the homeowner's pocket. And since being elected to this position, city council and then mayor almost a year ago, me and the council have been able to do just that. um, Still a little bit messed up from having the flu a few weeks ago. But anyway, we're going to continue to increase the homestead exemption. It was 1%, and last year we raised it to 3% homestead exemption for all the homeowners. And this year we're in early conversations about increasing that even more. We actually had a workshop last week, and that was one of the topics that we talked about. The city manager and city staff are real good about wanting to know early on what council's direction is. And that's exactly what they wanted to know this last week is, what is council's direction moving forward into the next budget?
What is the direction as far as taxes and the budget? So what is kind of the direction, the consensus so far on how you're going to approach the budget for next year in taxes?
Well, we're still looking for new ways of saving, the taxpayers and the homeowners money. And we're going to do that again this year. And I believe that it's the majority of council's desire to do that. And that's why I'm speaking of it now, because I believe we will increase the homestead exemption this year as well, even more than the additional 3%. And I believe also it's the majority of council that we not raise the tax rate. We've not raised our tax rate in Waxahachie in probably 2 or 3 years. And that's our plan again, is to not raise it. And that's why the city manager and city staff want to know what the direction of council is so that they can build the budget around what council wants to do. And if it's still the desire of council to put more money back in the homeowners' pockets, then that's the way they'll build the budget. And that is our desire. And I can tell you that as long as I'm on city council, that will be my desire is how can we save the taxpayers' money and how can we save homeowners and put money back in their pockets?
Mayor, what is one of the like the city always has pressing issues with everything going on. What are some of the big ones that are hitting you right now that you're going to have to really face coming on as you go forward in this next session?
Well, as you can imagine, it takes a lot of money to run a city and to keep a city running and to be healthy. And Waxahachie is a healthy city. And we have to continue to maintain what we have and also look at things not just today, but what are we going to need 5 years and 10 years and 20 years as far as the roads and the water and the sewer. You can't just look at that stuff on a day to day. You really have to look out for those things. And we're constantly talking about those things because, we have to keep up with the growth in Waxahachie. We should be, getting real close to 50,000 in population now. We weren't far from it a few months ago. And, we have to manage that growth.
Yeah. Talk to me about that part of it because we know that there's new houses, but there's also some density popping out. Is there any concerns with that, or are we healthy with how we're and where we're building density?
The whole density idea has changed over the years. If you go to any of the larger cities, their houses are much more dense than ours are here, even though ours are more dense than they used to be. That is the recommendation of some of the comprehensive and long-term plans that Waxahachie, we're watching that real close because I don't know about you, DV, but I don't want my neighbor within arm's reach of my house. I don't want to be able to reach out and touch my neighbor's house or
There.
if, if I yell at my dog, I don't necessarily want them to be able to hear me and know everything that I'm saying. So we're not so much in favor of becoming more dense, even though the larger cities they all have. And that's what, some of the plans call for now is to become more dense than we have been in years. And as there's not a lot of properties left here in Waxahachie that have, even an acre with the house. I still like that. I'm on an acre myself and I love that.
Hmm.
And I think most importantly is to have choices because some people are used to the more dense areas of living and they don't mind that. Maybe they prefer that. And then you have, people like us that don't want to be on top of our neighbors. So for me, I kind of like to have choices. And then that way people can get, and live how they want to as far as proximity to their neighbors.
Yeah, some of these communities that they're building, they're at, like these 50-foot lots, and they're literally, you can just reach out and touch their
Mhm.
wall. They're so close together, and they're selling them like that, and it's just, it's pretty crazy to me. I gotta have a little, even though I'm giving up a lot of the elbow room, I still have a little bit, and definitely more than that I have, because that is too
Well,
much.
and like you said, DV, even the locations that have been built here that are more dense, they're selling. I mean, it's not something I would be interested in buying. But when you talk about the many places that people are coming from and they're moving to Waxahachie, maybe that's what they're used to. Maybe that's all they know. And so, yeah, I mean, those places are selling too.
And you more than me, you've been here for a very long time. Me only since 14. And even since 14, the change in Waxahachie and just in general, there's a change. It still has a very homey feel, but it's changed. It's more of a city. Like it's really
Hmm.
getting into the whole city thing with its growth. There's always crime issues. And this is something you understand as a retired, what was it, assistant chief, Billy?
Our patrol.
Yeah, yeah, as retired in that field, and I know that you keep track with that. Can you talk to me about crime in the city?
Yeah, absolutely, DV. I still have my peace officer license today, and I'm always thinking about safety and how we can keep our community safer. And, that's probably right up there at the top of the list with some of the other things. But, we have to make sure that we keep our police and fire and our first responders, and that we pay them a healthy salary with benefits to retain them. And, we want first responders that know this area, that have worked in this area, that know the people, that know the problem areas. In the last few years, we've been able to get those salaries up and even enhance the benefits package. And the city manager's been all in favor of that. And that's very important to me because of my background, being a city employee for almost 30 years full time. And, it's very important to me that we hire the best and we supply them with the best equipment.
Yeah, I understand that definitely. I just like I haven't had a chance to talk to the chief. I got to have him on again. I had him on last year, just kind of talk about what was kind of hitting the city. But I am definitely glad to know that you guys support, because that's one thing that I've noticed throughout these years of interview. There, everybody on the council has been supportive of PD. Now,
Mhm.
I know that back then there was an issue as far as you guys were starting with a new for the city, a new ambulance service. What's the update on that?
That's still contracted out. We have gone through two or three different ambulance services. We're still, hoping to get the right one that provides the best services. Whether or not we have that at this time, I couldn't tell you. We rely on Chief Ricky Boyd and his team, to keep us informed about that. But that is still contracted out, and we're monitoring that situation very closely.
Is the council thinking about maybe bringing that on and the expenses of that?
It's talked about, DV, but it's a huge expense. You know, do I think that one day we'll have to do that here in Waxahachie? Probably so. But when that will happen and when we can afford to do that, I couldn't tell you.
I don't even know what those ambulances cost. I gotta imagine they're over 100 grand easy.
Yeah, they are, and to think
Those,
about supplies and then the additional manpower you would have to hire to be able to do that. That's something that we talk about often, and we're monitoring very closely because, and I know you feel the same way, DV. If you have an emergency at your house, you want the best to show up, whether it's a fire or a police need or an ambulance. I mean, you want the best to show up with the best equipment. And, it's no different for me in that area. I want the best with the best equipment if I were to have something at my house or yours.
well, you're when you're calling for the ambulance, it's probably one of the worst times of your life.
Hmm.
And you want somebody to show up quick, usually as faster than possible, and then you want them to be competent. So it's definitely something that is a concern. But
Yeah.
I could understand that that's a big challenge right there. Now, Waxahachie has been getting more in the sense of you're starting to get some fancy places opening up, and we got what is the city looking like for rec, for things to do? Because I know we got there's a down there in the rail yard thing, and what is the kind of the city looking forward to doing?
We're always looking for new venues, for family outings. And we don't have a lot of that here in Waxahachie. There's been, different things proposed, but nothing that we could really sink our teeth into and buy into. So we're always looking for more opportunities. A lot goes on down at the Rail Yard Park. I look for that to continue to pick up. And, all of those activities are free of charge to the community. And a lot of people attend those, a lot of families with their kids. And, I'm usually at those events. and just to see the families and the fun and the memories that they're making, and it's not costing them a penny, is very important. And, as we can bring more things like that to Waxahachie, we will.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you real quick too about business in the city. We it looks like that warehouse for Fanatics is pretty done. Do you know what's going on with that? And then just in general, how are we doing with businesses in the city?
Well, I think things have slowed down, DV. The small businesses, I think business has slowed. That's why we like to remind everybody, to shop local in your city, and, give those small businesses and business owners the business rather than taking it out of town. As far as the Fanatics, it looks like it's going to be maybe even another year before they come online. And, there have been some changes. Originally, they talked about having a storefront there so that we could go in and shop. And I don't think that's going to be the case now. I'm looking forward to some of the businesses around the Fanatics, some restaurants, and that's still in the early stages. We haven't, council hasn't been briefed on what those could be or may be. I know they're still moving dirt and planting landscape and trees and such out there. We're really hoping that we get some nice restaurants around the Fanatics building.
We're gonna have to call Jerry Jones and tell him, hey, step up. Maybe you could
Yeah,
reach out to him. I think
he
he.
talked to me if he knew how much I love the Cowboys. I mean, yeah, I like to win, DV. You know that. You and I, we know each other's history as far as our teams, but, we still love our team, win or lose.
Absolutely, I will love my team, and that's just it. It could be painful some years,
Yeah.
but it is your team, and you're supposed to love them. I wanted to give you kind of the mic to talk directly now that you're going to be reelected and go into a next term. Just kind of talk to the voters of Waxahachie. I'll shut up and give you the mic.
I did kind of want to talk about something real quick, DV,
Yeah,
and,
go ahead.
the panhandling problem in Waxahachie.
Oh, yes, I'm
We,
sorry.
council is on top of that. We've been able to get some things done as far as the say no to panhandling signs that are put up in the areas that we most frequently see the panhandlers. That has slowed the panhandling way down. But, for people listening to this, I wanted to just clarify a couple things, because a lot of people think that panhandling is when somebody stands there and holds a sign or maybe a bucket, looking for money or whatever. And actually that is not panhandling. If they're not speaking or asking, for money or food or whatever, it is not panhandling. And, the biggest question that the police department gets here is, well, why can't you arrest them, or why can't you give them a citation, for panhandling? But the people that do that, they know what they can and can't do. And that's why they're not asking you for anything, then that's your will. And the only thing I'd recommend, DV, for people listening to this, if your heart leads you to donate, give them food. That way that they're not taking that money and using it for drugs or alcohol or something, that's that we don't want them using it for. The signs really have helped. We, a council, along with the Ellis County Homeless Coalition, every person, that appears to be homeless in Waxahachie, and I've actually made contact with several myself, we talk to them and see what their circumstances is. And we've been able to help a bunch of them. And I can tell you the ones that are in Waxahachie now are the ones that they don't want any help. They want to be out there. They want to hold a sign up, and and they're hoping that you will give them money. There's not one here that hasn't been talked to and offered assistance. And like I say, the ones that have and are no longer out here, they actually accepted either a bus ticket or a ride somewhere, or
Mhm.
There's even been placement that's been made for several of them. And I just want the community to know that we're watching that situation. We're concerned about it. We don't want Waxahachie to become another Dallas problem or Fort Worth problem of homeless people. And it's unfortunate that people become homeless. My heart goes out to them, but I can tell you, not all of them want to leave the streets. Some of them, that's what they choose to do.
And there are also challenges that maybe people don't understand, because there are civil liberties concerns sometimes that
Mhm.
you got to run up against, because you want to have them out of there, but they also have rights that you can't trample on. So it makes things a little bit more interesting when you're trying to deal with them. But it's good that the community now know that you and others have been approaching these folks to try to
Mhm.
help them, and if they are standing out there, it's because they want to be out there.
That's
And
exactly.
and then you make a choice as a community, folks, what you're gonna do from there. So
That's right. And the community leaders, in Waxahachie, that's not the city that we want to become. And it is as disturbing for us as it is the community. We hear and we see all the comments about it as well, and we're as concerned about it as you are.
yeah, I've lived in very big cities and very big places, and you can't get a response from those people like you can from every single person on council, or even when you look at school boards locally. They're you can go up and talk with them. You can reach out to them and they will actually call you. You can have
Mhm.
coffee with them. That is not something you can do in other places. And then you guys, you answer up for, if there's some respectful dialogue going on and about what's going on in the city, you, Travis, Chris, there, you will chime in and say, hey, this is kind of what's going on. You don't get that just anywhere.
Yeah, that's still the beauty of living in a community where you've got people in these leadership roles that have been here for many years. We love this city. I've been in Waxahachie my entire life. There's nothing more than I want to do than to improve this city and maintain the health of this city, make it a great place for families to raise their children.
Yep. And you folks, you haven't lived to, you've seen Mayor Wallace with one of those rookie pitchers when they had revolvers.
All right.
So
You're,
she
you're going back to the 80s. But yes, I started out with a revolver on the streets.
wow, yeah, that goes back, Mayor.
Thank you, DV. I appreciate being on your show. I always enjoy
Thank you.
being on your show.
Thank you.
I love this city and I love serving this city. After retiring from the police department in 2016, I wanted to continue to serve this city. And being on city council has allowed me to do that. I'm honored to be your mayor here in Waxahachie. I'm a message, a phone call, a text, messenger away. I answer my phone every day. I answer questions from the community every day. I'll continue to do that because I care about you and I care about this city. And with that, DV, thanks again for having me on, and look forward to eating at the
Gravy. We got to try Celebrity Cafe together too.
yeah,
I went with my wonderful wife, and
yeah.
we had some good big biscuit and gravy. Maybe we could try that too. So, it was good seeing you again, and thank you again for coming on the show. Can you stick around real quick?
Thank you.